So, this is my first space. My name is Kila. I go by Kiki, coming to you live from Indonesia. It is 1:11 p.m. on Venus Day. It's auspicious. For those of you who are new here, I'm a lifelong palm reader. I'm the creator of Occult Nails here on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, even though I haven't figured out how to use TikTok yet, but I'm there. I'm the author of 2 full-length books on the art of nail divination, which is also known as onychomancy, for everyone who's been wondering how to pronounce that. I have 1 mini guide to broken nails, and I have a workshop coming up on the 12th, in which I'll be teaching how to read natural nails in all shapes and sizes. So I'm pretty sure everyone who's here has seen the thread that I just made. It's just a quick overview of nail trends that I'm really feeling this year that I think are very supportive for peace and prosperity. This isn't comprehensive. These are just the things that I've been picking up on. And I wanted to just give some quick examples of how I see nails and how I analyze them. Okay, so number 1, I'm really obsessed with these Korean nail techs. I don't know what technology they're getting into over there, but I'm just really obsessed with this aesthetic that in my head, I just keep calling glass nails, which doesn't really make sense because glass nails are like an actual thing with the nails that look like glass. But because Korean, beauty is so centered on like the glass skin and now glass hair, and I host a private beauty forum, and one of the girls in there was talking about glass body as a beauty goal. So I just associate this glassy aesthetic with the Korean beauty industry right now, and that's what these nails. That's how I've been thinking of these nails, and they are always short. They don't really do long nails. As far as like the 4 or 5 nail techs who do this style, they only post short nails. They're very soft, but very, very detailed. And the thing that I'm picking up on that I think supports peace and prosperity is they pretty much always are using soft and dark colors. They don't really get into like bright colors or long nails. Okay, let me back up. In nail divination, there are a few ways of looking at things. Short nails are yang. That's masculine principle of being more active and outwardly focused. And long nails are yin. And that's the feminine principle of being inwardly focused and receptive, okay? And the way that you can remember this is it's easier to be active with short nails, and it's easier to be receptive with longer nails of like, just, it limits the amount of activities you can literally participate in. So the yang nails are good for getting things done, but they're also good for minimizing the amount of external energetic information you can pick up on. And the reason for that is because our nails are part of our nervous system. And they basically act like satellite dishes, right? Where they are a way of like picking up information about the world around you, where like when you reach out to touch something, and your nails typically are what is going to protect your fingertips and also pick up on just like a lot of information about what you're touching. And similarly to hair, you also pick up information through your auric field. You don't even have to touch things in order to pick up information with your nails. If you find that you're overwhelmed with a lot of information, or you're just picking up on a lot of vibes from the people or situations around you, long nails are going to only facilitate that. So if you want to reduce the amount of information, you want to give yourself smaller satellite dishes in the form of your nails, so that you're just basically shrinking your auric field. Because like the auric field is like a literal physical thing, right? It's not just a concept. and it extends just beyond the boundaries of your body, more or less. It can expand and contract for a lot of different reasons. But when like I'm stretching my arms out right now, and that is stretching out my auric field by that much more. And if I were to have long nails right now, which I don't, my nails have been super short for like 2 years. If I were to have long nails right now, that extends my auric field out even further. And so that pulls that much more information. My field is larger. So that's why I think short nails support inner peace, because it helps you to stay focused. It helps you to contract your auric field so that you are really just like picking up on the information that in your immediate sphere. And I think it's really good for like, you know, I have a history of just learning how to deal with anxiety and hypersensitivity. And when I am in those parts of my life cycle, because I don't think you can ever like get rid of that completely, then short nails are really helpful for me. And like, you know, I just mentioned that I've had short nails for the past 2 years, and we've been in this panty for 2 years, and that's just a lot of extra information going on out there. I have been finding it absolutely crucial to keep my inner peace on point with every tool in my toolbox, and that includes with my nails. And I've actually tried growing my nails out a couple times in the past 2 years, and I'm at the healthiest I've ever been in my entire life. So this is not like a nutritional issue, but my nails just refuse to be long right now. They just will not allow it. So that is what I like about the short nails in this Korean nail trend. I think this trend, especially the manicure on the left, I hope you guys are all looking at this thread, this quick little thread guide that I made, and I also put them over on my Occult Nails Instagram stories, especially, which will be good, especially for looking at like the videos and reels that I screenshotted. But looking at this manicure by Nail Diary on the left, it's the nude one with like a little bit of like marbling going on over here on the Jupiter nail, and we have some, what are these? Are these chains? I think they're just like abstract silvery gold nail designs. And these are, you know, as you would imagine, good for calling in prosperity. We like the heavy metals of gold and silver, the precious metals, and those just help put you in that mindset. And in this case, I think these are actually silver. It's a little, the jewelry's gold, so it's throwing me off, but on the nails it's actually silver. Silver is representative of lunar energy, which is also receptive. So that supports this idea of receiving from the outside world. And one of the reasons I put peace and prosperity together as one concept that I wanted to cover is because I feel like a big focus of my personal life in the past few years has been learning how to have both at the same time. And what I mean by that is, like, I spent most of my 20s working like 3 to 4 jobs at all times. And so, you know, eventually I had like the resources that I needed in the physical realm, but not in my personal realm. And I just, as a general theme, I'm really interested in how to have prosperity without sacrificing my inner peace. And so that's, you know, I don't want to get too deep into nail spaces, but that is why I thought it'd be good to cover both of these topics at the same time and look at manicures that I think are supportive of both at the same time. So silver details, lunar energy, yin energy, and receptivity. Another thing that I'm liking about this manicure is on this, I think this is the Jupiter nail. The index nail is ruled by the planet Jupiter, and it has this kind of milky marbled effect. And I think marble is another great symbolic reference for peace and prosperity because it's very luxurious, but it's also extremely stable. And then the next manicure by Something About Nail, it's this really dark blue one. I think dark colors are really good for promoting inner peace. And in my first book, I talk about how black as a color is, I always think of it as going into stealth mode, where, you know, black is the color that absorbs all light, right? And so it's really good for absorbing information and also blending into the shadows. And it represents the nighttime, it represents yin energy. And so similarly, dark colors have this similar kind of effect. I've actually been thinking about black and dark colors differently recently than how I've always kind of discussed them in my onychomancy practice, and especially how I discuss them in the book, where you want to be careful about when you deploy black, because yes, it is good for laying low and gathering intel and being secretive. It's associated with all of these things, but it also, like I said, it absorbs all the colors of the light spectrum. That's what black actually is. It's this frequency that all the other colors like disappear into. And for that reason, you want to be careful about wearing black in an environment where you don't want to absorb all the energy that's around you. In that case, white is actually a better color. So it kind of goes both ways, and it depends on what you need. Again, none of this is prescriptive. Manicures are so incredibly subjective. And like, that's why when you guys ask me like, what kind of nails should I get for calling in this or calling in that? It's very hard to give generalized statements, because like the reason one person doesn't have peace and prosperity can be totally different from the reason that another person doesn't have peace and prosperity. And like, I think it's actually, it's really, it's been really fun for me to deep dive into onychomancy as a way to understand like why we feel the way we do about different aesthetics. But I never want someone to feel like I know what's better for them than what their natural intuition says is better for them. I think it's my favorite way to use this language of onychomancy is just for understanding why I'm attracted to what I'm attracted to, and just kind of help getting myself insight about where I'm at in that way, and not necessarily like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I use manicures as remedies for sure, but I think the ideal is to start with what you are naturally attracted to, and then letting that be the guide to understanding like why you're attracted to that thing. Moving on to black nails for inner peace. Yes, we just covered that. Maya the Mogul says you're doing great. Thank you so much. Actually, I'll come back to 2 because I want to talk about this first manicure on item 2 by Nails by Daobo, the black one with the black tips. We'll go all the way through the whole list because that ties into number 7 of outlining the different parts of the nail and what that means. Okay, so 3, horizontal lines. I really love this nail artist. The editorial nail, always super creative, interesting looks, and really interesting way of presenting the nail content with like videos, and go follow the editorial nail. Horizontal lines are very grounding. Just think about the ground is literally horizontal to us. And the flip side, vertical nails are more of this projecting energy of like when you want to connect with the outside world, make things happen. I'm making this gesture with my hands while I'm saying this, which is like using your hands as like magic wands with like electric lightning bolts coming out of your fingertips. That's vertical nail accent energy. All the horizontal emphasis here, I really like for grounding. And the placement is really interesting too. That takes us into understanding the nail chakras. The chakra system are these energy vortexes in our body. It's like these centers of energy in our body that control different aspects of our multidimensional field. And they start at the root chakra, which is in the genital base of the spine area, move up, and there's 7 chakras altogether. And the hands and the feet, similarly, because we're fractal forms, fractals are like the smaller micro view of any kind of entity or body, represents and looks like and functions like the macro view. And one way I like to think of this is like when you're looking at a map of a coastline, when you are really zoomed out, you have, you can see this whole coastline. And then as you zoom in further and further and further, all the way down to like the microscopic level, the patterns of that microscopic view tend to reflect the patterns of the macro view. And our bodies work the same way. So we have, and that is the principle by which reflexology works, which is understanding that our hands and feet, our ears, our face, they all connect to our larger energy fields, as well as the organs in our torso, which is like the most macro part of our body, you could say. So in the hands, the base of the palm corresponds to the root chakra, and the fingertips correspond to the crown chakra. And then when you zoom in a little more and you go to the fingers, it's the same pattern. The base of the fingers represent the root chakra, the tips of the fingers again represent the crown chakra, and then you can zoom in even more, and the fingernails function the same way, with the base of the fingernail, which is called the matrix, where the nail comes out of the finger, that corresponds to the root chakra. And then the half moons, also called the lanula, of the fingernails corresponds to the sacral chakra. And then the actual nail bed is split into the bottom half represents the solar plexus chakra, and the top half represents the heart chakra. So you can find this information on my blog. I have a Nail Divination 101 blog post, and then I go, obviously even deeper into all these topics in my books. But you can pull up my blog real quick if you want to check that out. I think I also have this diagram up on my Instagram page, Occult Nails Instagram. So we left off at the top half of the nail represents the heart chakra. The quick, which is the very edge of the nail at the tip of your finger, is the throat chakra. And then when your nails are short, the white part represents the third eye chakra. And then once it gets past, medium length nails are throat chakra, or third eye chakra, excuse me. And then longer nails are after I want to say half an inch, end up into the crown chakra zone. And that ties into what I said earlier about longer nails are more yin, because they extend your auric field, and so that you could pull more energetic information, etheric information in through your crown chakra fingertips, right? So in these manicures by the Editorial Nails, you can see that certain parts of the nails are emphasized, namely the half moons, which are the sacral chakra, and the tips, or the quicks, which are the throat chakra. So it's going to emphasize sacral chakra and throat chakra themes for you. And that's going to also tie back in later when we get to number 7 of outlining the different parts of the nail. But basically outlining and emphasizing different parts of the nail according to the chakras of the nails is going to strengthen your boundaries or bring more energy or attention, depending on how you do it, to those chakra themes. Number 4, nail pastels and nudes. I feel like these are very easy to intuitively understand why they are supportive of inner peace. Nudes are, the closest color that we have to our natural self, and so a nude that matches your natural nude color is just, it's just who you are at that moment. This is probably a good time to explain the difference between natural nails and manicures. And basically, natural nails are who you actually are, where you are truly at. Your health status can be seen in the nails, and the manicures are about who you are projecting yourself to be. So they are both very valid in nail analysis. They both provide lots of information to someone that is looking at them in that way. They just say different things about you. I'm just clarifying this because I've gotten feedback of people being like, you know, how can you divine anything from acrylics? And it's like, well, the acrylics are attached to a person that chose those acrylics. So just like any, you know, creative art form, they're going to reveal a lot about the person wearing them. So nudes are very good for just tapping into your own personal equilibrium. That's the word I'm looking for. And then pastels are a little bit different based on what color pastel. Obviously, a pink pastel is going to have a different energetic effect than a blue pastel. The colors are also tied into all the different chakras. They're associated to different chakras, associated with different chakras, as well as with different planets. Colors have so many different associations. After this spaces, somebody remind me to add this really amazing color psychology diagram that one of my mutuals just posted. I think that is a really good resource for understanding the different effects of different colors. Like I said, there's no one size fits all of like a manicure that is going to call in prosperity, because like I said earlier, there's different reasons that people, you know, are not exactly where they want to be at. And so on one person, long nails, you know, if that's really working for them energetically, it can help emphasize their ability to receive and attract and magnetize, which are qualities I associate with long nails. But if that person, you know, feels overwhelmed and anxious about all the energy that they're magnetizing and they don't know how to handle that, or it's just too much at that time, you know, that will end up being counterproductive, and you might end up, you know, blowing it all on retail therapy or something. So it's very much about like what you feel attuned to and aligned with.